Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Gordon Frayne. We are back with another update, this time for the Base network. As always, if you enjoy the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below, hit that subscribe button as well, smash the bell notification icon, and don't forget to grab your completely free copy of The Rise of Bitcoin. It's linked below the video, down below. Grab it now, and let's talk about Base. So we've been covering Base pretty extensively for the past year on the channel. And again, just by way of introduction, if you're not already familiar, guys, Base is a layer 2 scaling solution incubated by Coinbase. Yes, the same leading centralized exchange in the United States. We're seeing a lot of adoption with Base, lots of growth in terms of user base, and lots of growth in terms of daily transactions and TVL, as we'll see in a moment. But we know there are issues with Ethereum mainnet. It is prohibitively expensive to operate, execute transactions, and it can be very slow when the network gets congested and very, very expensive. So this is why we've seen the emergence of layer 2 scaling solutions just like Base. In the last cycle, we saw layer 2 scaling solutions like Polygon and Arbitrum really gaining a lot of traction, and it seems that Base is very similar in terms of growth and adoption compared to what Polygon and Arbitrum were doing in the previous cycle. So I think if we're thinking about potential price action for the leading Base ecosystem tokens, you could use Polygon as a way to think about the potential growth that we might be in store for with some of the tokens we're going to look at in a moment. Again, this is not financial advice, guys. Make sure you do your own research, check out Base, understand what's going on here. But realistically, it is a scaling solution to make executing transactions on the Ethereum network more scalable, more efficient, from a time perspective and also from a cost perspective. And we're seeing a lot of innovation happening in this space. We've seen the artificial intelligence agents, the AI agent narrative, gaining a lot of traction on Base with virtuals and all of these sub AI agents in the virtuals ecosystem. It really appears that the Base network, along with Solana, are the two places where most of that innovation is happening from an AI agent perspective. Again, that AI narrative has had a little bit of a pullback along with the entire market over the past few weeks, but Base still is a hub of innovation this cycle, and we're going to look at how that's been growing. So essentially, you can see here that now Base is the 6th largest network in terms of total value locked across all of decentralized finance. And again, looking at the breakdown of this pie chart, it's interesting to see some of the numbers here, because this time last year, Solana only made up just over 2% of all TVL in DeFi. It's now grown to 8.67%, and Ethereum has dropped from about 63% down to 53% for ETH mainnet. And the reason I'm putting that in context is because if you look at Base right now, we're at 2.91%. Everything in terms of total value locked in DeFi now has pretty much 3% or just under 3% of all of that activity happening on the Base network. So Base is now essentially at the point that Solana was at this time last year in January, February, Q1 of 2024. So the growth that we've seen here is phenomenal. We're going to look at the chart in a moment. But again, thinking about the context of its growth over the past year, again, it was only launched as a layer 2 scaling solution in August of 2023. It's seen phenomenal growth, and it continues to increase its market share in terms of TVL in DeFi. As I said, it is the 6th largest chain by total value locked, about $3.1 billion US dollars in TVL on the Base network. And if we look at that growth over time, you can see that it has had phenomenal growth, pretty much 10x growth over the past year in terms of TVL in DeFi. If we go back to the beginning of 2024, you can see that we had just over 300 million in total value locked on the Base network. Again, that grew up to about 1.4, 1.6 billion by the time we got towards Q2 of 2024. And then by the time we got to end of Q3 and into Q4, we had another huge leg up in terms of TVL growth. We did get as high as just under $4 billion in total value locked on Base. And over the past month or so, as the market has retraced a little bit, we have seen a retracement in TVL on the base network. And you can see that we're currently sitting, as I said, at about 3.1 billion of TVL on base. So this growth has been phenomenal. 10x growth in the space of 12 months for a layer 2 scaling solution is phenomenal. And we've covered many of these leading tokens and protocols in the base ecosystem on the channel over the past year. I will leave some links to those at the top of the screen here. We have the likes of Aerodrome, the leading decentralized exchange on the base network. We've got Morpho, a leading lending borrowing protocol. We've got Moonwell, another leading lending and borrowing protocol. Anzen Finance, Extra Finance, Beefy doing some nice integrations with Base, PancakeSwap even having a few options here, VFAT, a yield aggregator we've done videos on the channel for how you can provide liquidity and earn passive income and yield from supplying that liquidity to different assets and trading pairs on decentralized exchanges, just like Aerodrome, using VFAT's yield optimizer. So very exciting stuff going on Base in general. And as I was mentioning earlier, Base does not have its own native token. So unlike other layer 2 scaling solutions like Polygon, like Arbitrum, Base doesn't have a governance token or any token that is actually tied to the network to govern it. So what that means is, as more investors come into this space and start to play with Base, you can see the growth here is undeniable, 10x growth in the space of 12 months. As more investors and especially retail investors come in during this cycle, my opinion, again, not financial advice, guys, but they are going to be using these leading tokens on the Base network in order to speculate on the continued growth of the entire Base ecosystem. So again, they're going to be placing bets on tokens like Aerodrome, tokens like Wells, tokens like Morpho, and even Brett, one of the leading meme coins on the Base network. So because we don't have the ability to speculate on price directly using a Base token, I do think we will see capital flowing in to these other Base native tokens like Aero, like Morpho, like Moonwell, like Brett, as a result of the downstream effect of more capital flowing into crypto, more capital flowing into Base, which is evident based on the growth. And then the downstream effect of that is more capital flowing into these tokens to ultimately increase price when we get into the later stages of the bull cycle. So that's the main point I wanted to try and illustrate in today's video, guys. The other thing I wanted to touch on was just user growth. Again, you can see the TVL growth clearly on DeFi Llama, which we were just looking at. But again, the total addresses here on Base going parabolic basically since Q1, Q2 of 2024. We're now up to, 125, 126 million total addresses on the Base network. Total value bridged. Again, this is an indicator that we're seeing capital being bridged over to Base, because people are understanding and realizing it's much cheaper, much more cost efficient, and much more time efficient to transact on the Base network. And it's taking value out of ETH mainnet and some of the other layer 2s as a result. Total revenue, again, going pretty much this S-curve adoption in terms of total revenue increasing exponentially here towards the end of last year and moving into 2025 as well. Base daily network revenue continuing to move up and to the right. Again, daily transactions, huge growth here during the past year. A little bit of a cool off, as we can see, weekly transactions representing a similar type of pattern, but 6-week average still moving way up and to the right in terms of the underlying transactions happening under the hood. So daily new addresses, very consistent here, some peaks and troughs, but continuing to get a lot of new people entering the Base ecosystem. Daily active addresses, weekly active addresses continuing to rise, and lots of positive sentiment with regards to the Base network and its ecosystem growth. So I think this network as a layer 2 scaling solution is not done just yet for this cycle. I do think when we have more retail investors coming in, Base is going to be a go-to solution for people to continue to execute transactions in a cost-effective and time-efficient manner. Check it out for yourself, guys. Look at the data. Look at what's happening from an on-chain perspective. The adoption is clear. The trend of the TVL is clear. the trend of the user growth, daily value bridged, total addresses and total revenue all moving up and to the right. All of the metrics that you would want to see for a blockchain growing and gaining traction and adoption are here in plain sight. So that is it for today's video, guys. Check it out for yourself. Again, today's video is sponsored by Femex, the most efficient crypto trading and investment platform. And yes, some of the leading base ecosystem tokens, just like Aerodrome, like Morpho, like Wells, like Brett, are all available for trading and purchase over on Femex. Come on over, check it out for yourself. I'm going to leave a referral link down below this video for you to check it out if you want. Again, this is not financial advice, guys. Always do your own research. Check it out for yourself. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button below, hit that subscribe button as well, smash the bell notification icon, and again, don't forget to grab your completely free copy, The Rise of Bitcoin, linked down below the video. It's in the description. Grab it while it's free, get it today, and we'll catch you in the next one.